Hello there, you beautiful people. My name is Willow, and welcome to the only game where noobs carry you. It is Supreme Commander, Forged Alliance Forever, and today we're looking at a 4v4 custom game played on everybody's favorite map. It is none other than Setons. Let's go ahead and get right into player introduction, starting with Team 1 up here in the north and ending with Team 2 down here in the south. And we're going to start with the rear guard. Our player, a dark green Cybran at 1400 rating by the name of Hard Pain. Then we can move down to the rock position, the quintessential carry slot of Setons. We have ourselves a pink UEF going first air at 900 rating. It is none other than Kamikaze, and it is a great day to be watching FAF today. And we're going to move over to the middle with the light pink Seraphim player, worst faction, but an alright color, going first land, and of course, their name is Just Beginning, and they have 1100 rating to their name. Then up to the north of them, we have ourselves a green Seraphim. Man, bad choices coming out of this northern team. Going first air and building his hydro, he has a grand total of 1300 rating to his name, and his name is Gid. Then we can move on to the southern team, starting with the rear guard air position for Team 2. And it is none other than the 1300 rated bright red Cybran player going first land by the name of Drax. And then we can move up to the rock position, the Gray Aeon Best faction going first land at 1100 rating. It is none other than Ruling. Then in the middle of the map, we have ourselves a maroon UEF going first land, waltzing his way to the middle at 1200 rating. It is none other than Tomozilla. Then last but not least for the entire game, we have ourselves an orange Seraphim, worst faction, going first land at 1000 rating. It is Jerax69. And now we have all the players introduced. We can take a look at the map itself, and of course we have to look at the all-important 15,000 reclaim that this map has to offer for its players. And of course, we have to talk about how we expect things to go, especially with the rating 92 game quality. And what I'm expecting to see here is actually kind of an inverse of what you're normally expecting. I expect the beach slots with their increased rating over the rock slots to have a huge advantage against these two players here. And overall, I think that the island fights are going to be interesting, and now that we see 3 comms going to the middle, we can expect the southern team to have a reasonable advantage in getting to the middle and getting up all of that reclaim, and that could have huge implications for the rest of the game. Of course, Just Beginning gonna get here second. Tormozilla, and I accidentally called him Tomozilla. It is Tormozilla, my bad there, is getting up a lot of reclaim here early, and Just Beginning is kind of just beginning to get here, and he's not really gonna have that much of an advantage on getting reclaim, especially since his beach player did not decide to join him here in the middle. Now Tormozilla, he's going to be able to sit here and get a little bit more reclaim than his opponent by just getting here faster, but you expect him to get a lot more, because as long as him and his ally Jerax decide to just start shooting the commander here, things should go all right. Just Beginning, really trying to play aggressively, wants to go for a point defense here in the early game. Unfortunately, though, he is building it right within sight of Tormozilla, and Tormozilla is ignoring it for some reason. Really shouldn't be ignoring that PD right here. It is one of the few ways that right now Just Beginning can get into a strong position. And Tormozilla gonna run into the water. These Zooies out from Just Beginning being a masterful play, making him have all of the free reign in the world, and that PD is going to give him a lot of advantage here, and Jerax is going to show up to just kind of a losing situation. Not very good for him right here today. Now, of course, we have a lot to get through with this game. We have our first drop over here to the west out from Ruling is going to be able to secure that side island. The other side island had a bomber that killed off the engineers of the fine man or woman Kamikaze. And that is going to be a little bit a little bit of a problem. Gonna have to get on that transport out there for another drop, and there is a transport over here. Looked as though it was maybe gonna try and drop the island after seeing the interceptors, decided not to, so just dropped over here to get a factory thrown up, and then I guess you could always just try for the Hail Mary, throw the transport into the enemy area. The air transport out from Ruling seemingly just gonna go down here. There's no real air protection, but it's already done its job. So most likely things are going to be okay. Interceptors are popping out. There's also a mobile anti-air popping out to try and deal with the interceptors. The Chariot at 24 HP does go down, but the reclaim is going to be right there. Hard Pain says mine. Trying to tell these engineers out from Gid to stop getting the reclaim there, I would guess. And here in the middle, this T1 PD still doing great work. Formozilla not having a good time, and overall reclaim thanks to just beginning. Actually, no, not really. It's more so going towards Team 2. Despite everything, Tormozilla has gotten the most reclaim so far here in the middle, and just beginning with this aggressive play hasn't spent that much time reclaiming and hasn't sent any engineers to help him out with that reclaim game, so he's not gotten most of the reclaim here. So overall, despite the very good play from just beginning, did not get an economic advantage over that. Now, of course, is going to be sitting in a relatively strong spot as far as map control goes. Does control this middle area pretty convincingly already. And, of course, we now have Gid. Gid finally going to send the comm to the middle, but it seems like a little bit too little, a little bit too late, if you ask me. Not really the best situation there for him. And usually the player in this beach slot is more incentivized to go to the middle because they can usually get here and get the Salem Rex for themselves and throw that into their naval economy and start pumping out units. Gid and, of course, Hard Pain, some of the higher rated players in the game. They are the highest rated. The only other player close is, of course, Drax over here with 1300 rating. 1400 rating for Hard Pain means that this air slot battle is going to be very important. We really are going to need to see Drax step up and play just a little bit above his rating if he wants his team to have any kind of chance. But overall, things going pretty all right for both teams right here. Nobody is particularly upset. Of course, Southern team in a better position, more eco to their names, more reclaim to their names. They're doing a little bit better on the economy game. They are gonna have more stuff to throw at the enemy, and more stuff counters less stuff, or as people like to hear me say, more shit counters less shit. And of course, if you want to hear me say more sayings and keep on speaking and commentating FAF, please consider subscribing, liking, and commenting on this video. Now, of course, we have to start looking at the pawns, and right now we have ourselves a bit of a even situation down here in the south. There are 2 submarines, though, for Kamikaze, and that is going to be very important here versus the 1 submarine coming out from Jerax. Jerax only has 1 factory. He is assisting it, so he will get out some units a little bit quicker from that factory each time. But, of course, more factories means you have more units in production at any given time, so it can always a little bit backfire there if you don't build up a lot of factories. And on Setons, you usually want a lot of them. The most factories in the game right now is going to be handed over to, of course, Ruling with 4 naval factories. Doesn't have any more on the way, and his opponent might be building up a few more. Yes, he is. Gid going to get out a decent number of naval factories here in the early game. And we have a very early Strat Bomber now coming out from Hard Pain. Sub 9-minute Strat Bomber is going to be a little bit brutal here. There's already some interceptors locking onto it, and they will bring it down about 700 HP before it outruns them. But I don't know if there's any kind of T3 air coming out just yet. No, T3 air HQ not even done yet right now for Drax. So Drax in a rough position. All of the interceptors and a ton of Sky Slammers showing up, meaning this bomber's actually taking a lot of damage. And now the Burstmaster Flax over here will be able to fire, but that does manage to get a T2 mechs and some power generators there against Drax. Now, of course, it really depends on how likely it is. Oh no, the T2 Air HQ about to be T3. Now taking a lot of damage. Does go down to some Sky Slammers, and the wreck even lands on top of a Mass Extractor. And of course, that could have been a lot worse, but now we see a situation where Hardpain can just get more. Just eco your super behind. He went for the early bomber, but he didn't eco behind it. And we have Hardpain rage quitting here, sub 10 minutes. He went for pretty much no T2 mexes. He just went for the T3 bomber, and he failed because Drax just built Sky Slammers, which is a really weird situation there. You don't... That is a first for me. The guy who rushes the strat loses because the enemy team spams out T1AA is something I've not seen before, believe it or not. And the Sky Slammer is kind of the only T1AA that can do that since it has those tracking missiles. As long as they fire from in front of the Strat Bomber, the missiles should connect. And now we're going to see Gid, the 1300, taking over everything. He's going to have that double eco. He didn't really get that much of an economy bump from his allies' base, and that kind of explains the massive economic differential between these teams. And that bomber, man, it had such high hopes. It could have done so much. I think if it had gone for any of the other players and damaged them, it would have been absolutely devastating, but it kept on flying around all of this AA that was built up by Drax, and here in the middle, just beginning his one-man army assault up against Tormozilla, and Tormozilla is in a little bit of trouble here. He needs to make sure he's moving that commander, can't just sit here and take shots, and he is currently doing that, down into the red, trying to throw up PD. PD won't do you no good here. And now, of course, we have a long game ahead of us. Go back, says Gid. I think he's trying to tell his ally to fall back. Doesn't want to risk his ally dying there. Doesn't want a third base. And surprisingly over here, Kamikaze is the highest eco player in the game. Has really ecoed extremely well, and Jerax is 30 or so eco behind him. He's even out-ecoing his teammate with a second base. So that could be a bit brutal. Of course, Gid, we do expect with that higher rating to start throwing together a whole bunch of mechs upgrades very quickly, get up that eco very quickly. He does have to worry about the situation over here in this northern pond. If ruling can really get a lot of pressure out here soon, it could be very bad for him. But now the assault out from just beginning is kind of petering out here. Does still have a lot of units, but now T2 PD going up, making this a bit of a more difficult game for him. T2 Navy has completed for Kamikaze, and I think that's the first player who's going to be able to really produce T2 Navy at a good clip. And now we're looking at a 3v4. Admittedly, though, the northern team is not doing too horribly now, and they've caught up economically. I mean, they're within 10 to 20 mass a second. That's not too bad when you're talking about numbers like 306 and 315. That's nominal. And they're going to be able to keep fighting it out here. A lot of T2 mechs is now peripheralating for Gid. And, of course, some T3 mexes we're going to expect to see online here soon for Kamikaze. But Kamikaze, sitting in the Navy, has a lot of naval units out, is in a strong position. There's a lot of naval units now starting to come out for ruling. For some reason, going for AA. As an Aeon main myself, I'm not really a fan of this play. I would much rather see you just start building up some land factories here, just build up 3 or 4 of them, and start getting out asylums and ascendants. It's just so much better than the Infinity class. The Infinity class is, honestly, it feels like a waste of mass most of the time you build it. But I'm not here to criticize these players. I'm here to commentate on what they're doing. And what they're doing right now is reclaiming, of course. 10,000 reclaim already for Drax, and that is all from trees. And you can see most of the trees on his side of the map pretty much dealt with right now, and he is sitting on a very strong economy for it. He's up to 130 or so mass, but Gid and Kamikaze are ecoing extremely quickly. And you can see Kamikaze already over here, full T2 mexes. Want to see where the T3 mexes are going to go down. Needs to start scaling those up. And yes, one back here upgrading, and Gid just focusing on getting everything to T2, and once that is completed, can go for a T3 mex and probably get it extremely quickly. I just heard some bombers. I think it was these bombers over here, but they did go down. And Just Beginning over here has also managed to eco a little bit better than their opponent. Just Beginning and Tormozilla have been out-ecoed by everybody else in this game. Only players below 100, and they are very far below 100 mass a second. And we've kind of just reached this this sort of stalemate situation. We have some destroyers over here. We have a Vesper trying to cause issues, but it does not really have that great of a chance, especially with destroyers in the area. They can just blap that out of the water very easily. But Gid just needs to make sure he holds. As long as he's holding on a few fronts, he will be in an okay position. As long as he doesn't get pressured, he can get up the economy very, very quickly. The biggest issue I see for Gid is he won't have an air grid. But then again, he's not too far behind as far as air grids go. He's not too far behind Drax over here. And he is actually going to start up his air grid first. He will have less mass to work with because a lot of T3 mechs is now going online for Drax, and he is catching up economically against Gid. And you have to remember, he's catching up to Gid's total number, but he is massively ahead of the number of the mass from the air base right now. Nano repair now on the way for Just Beginning. He wants to continue to be aggressive. He wants to continue to make ground here. He feels the pressure. He needs to do things for his team. Also, he just got multiple T3 mexes done in a short period of time. Why is his mass income so low? I mean, I guess he has only 2 T3 mexes. Just feels very low for this stage of the game. I mean, wait, was that a power stall that I saw? Oh, he's in a power stall, which is really hurting his economy right now. He needs more power. Maybe some overflow from his ally over here, Gid, will help out here in a second, but until that happens, he's in a rough position. He's gotten to T3 mexes, but he's done it on T1 power, and he doesn't really have even that much of that. So he's in a rough situation here, but can always just wait it out, get out some more power, and you'll be all right. Now, of course, a bit of a fight about to break out over here. Just Beginning, 99% on nano upgrade. He needs to finish that. Oh, he needs to finish that, and then he needs to run. Run now, Just Beginning. Get out of there. He does have nano, so that's 76 HP a second. It is a bit deceptive how tanky he is right now, but he's about to fall into the red anyways. This could have been a huge disaster. It is. Oh no, it's a disaster. It's Just Beginning goes down, getting too greedy and upgrading. Gid is playing like a saint right now. He's like, we got this, don't worry, Kamikaze, I got you. Do you want the middle base or should I take it? We can do this. We have better eco than them. Well, I hate to break it to you, but you really don't. You're doing all right economically, but you're still 100 mass behind. But I do like the optimism here. It is very much so something you need. And now Kamikaze with 300 mass a second and Gid with 245 mass a second need to start digging themselves out of a hole. This entire time on the southern side, Kamikaze, I didn't mention it, but he managed to get himself set up pretty good, and he has a lot of Zooies given over to him by his former ally Just Beginning, and now he will be able to start pushing in. Like, there's just not really much here that can stop him. Building up hives on this side will not do anything for you. It does seem as though Jerax is trying to eco up, but he just doesn't have really a good chance of fighting the economy battle here. And the big place I'm looking to is Ruling. Ruling is kind of the player who has the power right now. He needs to start doing something against Gid here soon, because Gid has to split his attention between this air and this navy, and as long as you're forcing him to do a lot of things, he's going to be in a rough position. Air has been lost by Gid according to himself, but that is not necessarily the end of the world. Now, of course, torpedo bombers and gunships out from players like Tormozilla are going to start harassing all of this spam and all of these units out from Kamikaze. But if Kamikaze can get in here and can shut down the production, you just have to shut it down once and you kind of just get naval control on this map. And maybe even has enough range to start killing off some of these mexes that Jerax have been investing so heavily into. Kamikaze getting up more T3 mexes back at home. T3 mexes now peripheralating for Gid as well. And just beginning, he was trying really hard. I have to give him credit. He played relatively well, but you can't greed out for that and then send all of your units to the Navy. If he kept the Dazooies with him just until he finished that upgrade, most likely would have been fine. Tormozilla, for some reason, hiding his comm in the Navy. Guess he feels safer with it there. And now there is a Valiant class destroyer. Is it hitting the cliff? No, it is hitting the mechs there. That mechs is going to go down to this Valiant class. And now with the production shut down, Jerax is going to start losing eco at a righteous clip right now. Going to have a lot of governor classes, going to have bulwarks to protect them. The Valiants will be able to get in and deal damage to whatever they can hit. So this area right now, it's a disaster for the Southern team. And up here to the north, of course, ruling. He's showing up with a lot of Navy. And he does most likely have the numbers. I am very happy to see him go for the T2 land spam. Not sure where he went for it at. Wait, where is he producing all this T2 land? Is he producing it all from his main base and having it walk all the way around? That seems very inefficient. But does have it, at the very least, which will be a very strong boon for him moving forward. And air is going to become an ever-present issue for this northern team. But the bulwarks and governors should be able to make this last for a little while, should be able to keep this siege going. And Jerax going to lose that shield there. He's going to start losing T3 mexes at a very fast rate. And things are going to get rough here for him. He's already fallen down quite a bit. He was nearing 200 mass a second. Now he's fallen down near 100. And a naval fight breaks out over here in the north near Gid's base. The cruiser's getting out in front. Actually, I don't know how much I hate that. I mean, he is going to lose the cruisers, but they tank damage for those destroyers. And despite the mix-in of Ascendants and Asylums, this really just isn't the fight that ruling feels he should be taking. Make sure to take a drink, everybody. Stay hydrated. And we're 20 minutes into this game, and things are going rough for the Southern team. And the Northern team, despite being down 2 players in a 2v4 right now, is doing a damn sight better than I would have expected. Kamikaze, honestly, is pulling well above their weight. Highest scoring player in the game, highest eco player in the game, doing very well at 900 rating against everybody else in the game who is higher rated than them. Has completely knocked one of the players out of the game for all intents and purposes. And things are moving along as they do. And now we're starting to see battleships coming out from Kamikaze. I really like that they built 2 and then they were like, listen, I don't actually need more. I've already won Navy. I can use these to get in here, do a little bit more damage to the economies. Also going to start using the Valiants and the Governor classes over here to start sieging down Tormozilla. He's trying to take as much economy off the board as quickly as possible. And I gotta say, it looks like it's working. But did forget to bring the bulwarks over here, so the cruisers are going to get shot down. The Valiants are going to start dying. Needs to pull those bulwarks back over so these torpedo bombers don't have as much of a free reign here. Reclaim T2PD, asking his ally to do little things. I like that out of Gid, but Gid needs to keep on his own toes and keep working hard himself. He is getting up a lot of economy. I'm still surprised that he cannot keep up with Kamikaze, and Kamikaze has a insane amount of build power right here. Oh, Kamikaze is about to pop off. I love to see it. I love to see lower rated players really just strutting their stuff whenever they... so the way that rating works in FAF is it's all about certainty. or uncertainty rather. Your rating is actually a larger number than what the number you see in lobbies is. For example, mine is somewhere around, mine is 1600 plus or minus 300, or maybe it's 1500 plus or minus 200. So I'm a 1300 around about. And that's how rating works, which means on any given day, the game considers me to be a 15 or 1600 plus or minus that amount, which means that theoretically there's situations where I'm plus on that and I'm doing a lot better than my average, and it always takes the lowest number from it. So I don't know how to explain it exactly, but he could be about he could be a 1300 plus or minus 400 right now, or he could be a 1100 plus or minus 200, and he could just be having a very good day or has gotten the right situation for himself. And here in the middle, he is fighting it out up against the T2 armies here. Does have a bit of a problem here and needs to stop this. He's really struggling up against these T2 units. Needs to start building PD right now. He just doesn't have the APM, and these little things, these are the things that are kind of holding him back rating-wise. ACU, 7k HP. That's not particularly important as of the moment. And now these pillars, they're going to kill off a lot of economy. All of these T3 mexes are going to start going down. These Utashalas are a little bit too little, a little bit too late. Pillars will exact their pound of flesh. Mass cruiser now starting to be produced by Kamikaze. Really trying to make things happen. Fortunately for this northern team, these pillars have sat still, so the cruisers were able to kill off a few of them, and the last pillar are going to be killed off by PD, and this can be re-expanded to, but does Kamikaze have the presence of mind to do so? If so, needs to make sure they do it quickly. And over here to the north, huge naval battle as Gid takes it, and I don't know if Gid really has the numbers here for it, especially since torpedo bombers could show up at any point. But he wants the fight, and he is taking it to the units of Ruling. Ruling has a lot of Exodus and still had a decent chunk of Asylums there, tanking damage for him. But the destroyer ball out from Gid is starting to deal damage to this force out from Ruling. And Ruling does still have a fighting chance here, just needs to be careful, needs to keep falling back. I think the falling back strategy is working for him. And now all of these destroyers, every time you see one of these Asylum shields pop off, that means it's soaked 3,000 damage. Which is really important, and all of these destroyers for Gid are now collapsing. Just beginning states to regroup, and I think that's a good idea because unfortunately there's a ton of reclaim here now. Let's go ahead and check that actual number. 18,000. That is going to be an important reclaim field here in this game. And we're now starting to see mass fabs going up for Kamikaze. He's up to nearly 700 mass a second. He's going for mass air. He's getting up RAS SCUs. He is gonna eco, and he's gonna eco hard. Make air, please, says Gid. Well, he's a little bit ahead of you. He's starting to make his own ASF. He is re-expanding to this base down here. Needs to make sure that he does eventually upgrade these back to T3 and probably throw together a few more point defense. Overall, Kamikaze really doing well this game. Gid doing well himself. The air game, though, is just so dominated by Drax right now. And that might change. Drax probably needs to try and make something happen with his air relatively soon. Did they spot a nuke? They're building anti-nukes. They seemingly are worried about that possibility. Just not sure where they would have spotted a nuke. They did not. They're just being precautious, which I do like to see. And Kamikaze is now getting up so many air factories, so much power. and going to be building RAS STUs so quickly. How much is he mass stalling despite 700 mass a second? He's almost mass stalling as much as he's producing. But despite that, he's going to be producing things very quickly. And now these ASF over here, Drax does need to be careful. You can't just fly the ASF over cruisers. That's going to be a lot of ASF going down to cruisers right there. The cruiser count could theoretically get high enough to just completely remove an air advantage. And I mean, right now, the air, it's advantage Drax, but only just. There's going to be a lot more in terms of air grid going up for both of these players. And now we have a ton of air starting to be spammed out for Kamikaze. Let's go ahead and check on those numbers. Kamikaze over at 20 ASF, Gid at 43, and Drax at 109. They're catching up. They noticed the nuke. The nuke almost loaded. Do they have their own anti? There's an anti up and loaded right now for Drax. There's an anti up and loaded for Ruling. There's an anti in the middle about to be loaded for Tormozilla. And there's an anti about to be loaded, of course, for Jerax. So everybody in the game has anti-nuke on this southern side. Needs to save it, honestly. He's now starting to scout. He will find them all if he does scout diligently enough. But if he just throws it out there, it's not going to work very well for him. It's always nice to just have a nuke in the bank anyways. And now RAS SU is starting to be produced in mass by Kamikaze, and honestly, he's getting up so much economy right now. It's a little bit ridiculous. Mass Fab Farms also going up for Drax. I would assume, yep, RAS Boy is now going to start production for Gid. Everybody going for the late game economy options. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want more content just like this. And if you want to see me work on projects that are not FAF related, go ahead and check out my second channel. Just put out a couple of challenge videos, which are doing very well over on that channel. Don't worry though, the FAF channel is going nowhere. We will continue to create FAF content here for you all. And of course, Bar and Sanctuary will be extended that kind of content sphere. And yeah, you all are oh so beautiful. A lot of torpedo bombers now coming in for a sortie up against the Navy of Gid, but the Navy of Gid just has too many cruisers to deal with, and the air fight over here breaking out, not going well for Kamikaze, but Kamikaze kind of masterfully baiting all of the ASF out from Drax over all of those cruisers, and now the air fight may go the way of Team 1. I mean, like, even if you just kill off the vast majority of these ASFs, it's a win for you because you have two players producing air right now. And honestly, Kamikaze is... How many air factories does Kamikaze already have? He already has 9 factories versus Drax. He's only sitting on 16. Like, and this air grid is going to get massive for Kamikaze, who's just past the 1,000 mass a second mark. And we now have 7 strats over here, or no, 6 strats, which I think might want to go for this nuke, but I'm not sure why you would go for it. Everybody on your team has a loaded anti-nuke. Let them waste the mass on producing nukes, if you so please. Tempest now done for Ruling. And we now have mass nuke sub planned up for Kamikaze. He's seen the casts of Setons, and he knows how he wants to end this game. He's going for it. Mass nuke sub is always a great option. And the strat bombers come in. They get caught out by the ASF, I think.
Strategic launch detected.
The nuke does get launched. The nuke launcher doesn't die critically. And as long as the ASF clean up that last strat bomber, which it does seem like that's about to happen. Oh no, it drops its bomb. So the nuke does manage to launch, and the nuke is going for the Navy, which might be the best call here. The Navy may have been given their move order just a little bit too late. Yeah, it does seem as though that's the case. No, it's going for the naval production, which seems like a good call here. In the air, I think that this northern team really needs to consolidate their air, probably give all of the air to Gid. And now multiple nuke subs coming out of these factories. How many did he queue up? Did he just queue up 2 for each factory? It does seem so. He just wants 4 nuke subs. "35 minutes into this game, and we are no closer to finding out who's going to win it." Mass SU production online for both sides, or at least for the southern side. The northern side. The southern side does have one player kind of doing it. And it seems as though we might have an artillery planned over here for ruling. Is that a proper artillery? Oh, that is. Could even fit another one. Go for triple artillery if he's feeling like it. It's strange to say that the poorest player in the game has nearing 300 mass a second, but it's true. And Team 1, for the first time this game in a long time, seems to be catching up to the eco of Team 2. And a Maver now on the way for Kamikaze. And he has a ridiculous amount of ASF now, 103 versus Drax sitting on 113. And combined with Gid's 31, Team 1 up here in the north has the air advantage. For probably the first time this game as well. It's starting to turn around, and now we have to look at Team 2 and see, how are you planning to win this? And it does seem as though Drax has a plan. Drax with, well, 400, 500 less mass a second is going to go for a Scathis, which is cheaper than the Maver. But that Maver is being built at a not insignificant rate. It will be done here in probably 5 to 10 minutes. If Kamikaze can afford it and does throw all the Kindles onto it, stops producing out of a lot of these factories. He wants the Maver. That could be a mistake. And it's going to open him up to a situation where maybe we're going to see a strat wave go for that Maver. You also have these nuke subs in the middle launching nukes. Is that what's so loud? Yeah, I think that's what's so loud. Yeah, these nuke subs are very loud. The Scathis will finish first. That is damn near a guarantee. Actually, no, it's not! The Maver is building so quick, it has so much more build power on it. Considering just how insane Kamikaze has gone with the spam of eco and build power. Strategic launch detected. It's heading up here towards the production of Gid. And does Gid have an anti-nuke here? It doesn't seem as though he does. What happened to the anti-nuke? I thought he had one. But no, it seems as though that was a lie that my brain conjured up for me. And with that nuke landing, it's going to be 4 T3 mexes going down. That's not going to be too horrible. Honestly, that is just a matter of a few clicks to rebuild them with some of these units. He still has all of his production. But the big thing is he needs to build an anti-nuke, and he needs to build it yesterday. The Tempest seemingly causing issues along with all these Omen classes. And just massive Navy battles constantly going on. Very beautiful sight here to see. This game is a very aesthetically pleasing one. And I just realized that none of these nuke subs are building nukes. And that is a tad bit of a mistake, if I do say so myself. Wait, are they? It doesn't seem as though they are. I don't know if Kamikaze knew that he had to tell them to build nukes. But maybe he didn't want to, as his Maver is all the way up to 79%. Do we have a telemazer started up or finished yet? Nano repair. We don't have a telemazer, but that could be a legitimate way of dealing with the Maver right now. The Scathis is behind the Maver on production. The naval battle does peter out. It seems as though both sides are a little bit worse for wear after it, but I think Gid is losing. Neptune's over here going to start dying off to the overwhelming number of battleships coming out from Jerax. And the Maver, well, it's about to finish up. With the Maver done, they get pretty much de facto air control. You just have to put it on the air grid for about 3 shots and you've probably killed off his entire air grid. And you know what? I'm feeling like I want... feeling like I want to watch this Maver fire. Actually, I want to do the thing where I do this and do the tracking shot. We'll be able to watch as the map, we fly over the map. There's a Tsar there, everybody. This first Maver shell, it's going straight for the air grid. And it might even find its way into an unprotected area, and the entire air grid goes up. Oh, no. Oh, well, now the entire air grid goes up. And, oh, no, it's a disaster. I think he got the HQ. He got the HQ. The Scathis is going to be done, but what does it matter? The Scathis is going to fire into a base that's already has already shielded it. It's already been shielded against. Of course, the Maver, it's firing. I mean, it's getting hit by a Scathis fire. And the Scathis is already dead! Oh my lord! Oh, this Maver is just going to town, but they're losing on almost every other front, it feels. They're starting to lose Navy down here. There's a Tsar moving in. Huge scout wave just started up, and critically, I don't think this survives a telemazer. And if the southern team realizes it, that could be their fall. That could be the folly of the northern team, but now it does with Ravagers going up. There's a Novax out from Tormozilla, but that won't matter as the Maver starts raining down on top of it. I think it may already be dead. Is it? It is, isn't it? Oh wait, no it's not. But damn, now the Tsar coming in. The Tsar is gonna fall down, and that's just more mass to work with for Kamikaze. Kamikaze, the titan of production, the titan of industry, the titan of economy, coming in and strutting his stuff. And he just wiped the air of Drax after killing off the air grid. Oh my. It's a disaster for the Southern team. They threw everything and the kitchen sink, and they got nothing for it but giving mass to the enemy team. Just beginning, says Maver here. That is a good call. The Novax may end up killing off this air grid. But wait! Oh no! What happened? I missed it! Something killed the Maver! And his anti-nuke died too, so the nuke's gonna come in! Oh no, it's a disaster! Oh, right now I'm gonna put up on screen how the Maver died. I will rewatch this replay to this point and show it to you all. You all deserve to see that. I thought it was so secure. But the nuke is gonna come in, and so much economy is gonna go down. You know what? In fact, let's just do this. That hurts. It is nuclear hellfire and depression right now in heavily concentrated form for Kamikaze. Somehow the commander of Tormozilla during that died. He was standing over here in the mass fab farm, I think. Kamikaze is still sitting on a ridiculous eco, but a more ridiculous eco is now held by Gid. And they have air control, and the critical thing is they probably keep air control throughout this game. I mean, he still has the world's most crazy... Oh, he doesn't have an HQ anymore. Oh man, that was a... I don't know if I'm watching a FAF game or a swing set, because the swinging is insane in this one. Every time I think one of these teams has the upper hand, it's just taken away from them. Over and over. And now the Navy down here is collapsed for Kamikaze. The Maver investment, it had to work out, and... it's hard to say it didn't, but at the same time, it's hard to say it did. Their team overall is massively ahead as far as economy goes. Where is the experimental that was just built? Oh, it's just a crab. Okay. I was like, did he build like a Scathis or a YOLO that I missed? Gid needs to get an air grid and a big one. Another Scathis under production. It's already passing the 30% mark, nearing 40.
Strategic launch detected.
Strategic launch detected out from the base over here in the north. The anti-nuke here, I think, went down. This anti-nuke is still well and good loaded. What is he nuking this time? Is he nuking the production yet again? It seems so. There's an anti-nuke right here, though, which may stop it. Gid is slowly starting to win the Navy over here. Kamikaze managed to keep the vast majority of the build power and could just start reproducing all of those SCUs, but it's sort of gutted over here. this is too many battleships, if I'm honest with you. Like, you don't need this many battleships. You can stop making them. If he's still making battleship, yeah, that's a mistake. Unless they're building nukes. Are they building nukes? I do not see any of them building nukes. No, they're not. I mean, they could start, though. If he has the economy for it. And now, as we meander towards that 50-minute mark, we have to try and speculate on how the game is going to go moving forward. A Scathis has been started for Gid. He has so much more economy, but the Scathis for Drax is almost done. So much build power behind his name. All of this base over here for Kamikaze going down. He's gone from the most eco player to the least in a short period of time. And now, of course, Gid. He's kind of the last hope for this northern team. His team is now behind on eco. I think that might be related to a power stall, though. So I feel like he had more eco just a moment ago. Maybe that was reclaim related. And Drax has built up a Scathis. And let's give this team the same luxury we gave the other team. And we passed Novak's Hill over here, as you see below us. And if you look out to the left, you're going to see the northern pond. And in the center of your screen now, you're going to see a megalith sieging down against the forward base of formerly Tormozilla, now Drax. We see the large battleship graveyard over here, and we finish our tour right here in the water. And what was that nuclear explosion? I'm guessing it was an SCU of some kind. This megalith is... I mean, it's walking in. Although I doubt it gets very much done. Gid going for his own Scathis. But how long can they endure the Scathis fire coming out from Drax is the question. Okay, Scathis back, GG, I guess. Says Kamikaze. Strat it, cover with ASF. Well, that is a plan. Needs to make sure he avoids any AA. There's kind of a block of AA right here that could stop that plan. But also, I think he has less ASF. But here we go. We're going to track the Strat Bombers. And the ASF out for Drax. They pass the Strat Bombers. But the Strat Bomber's going to fly right into a bunch of SAMs. The question is, will the SAMs be enough? He's Strat Bombing this nuke and the Novaks first. And then I think he needs to right-click on the Scathis, but the ASF are coming back in. He still has a ridiculous number of Strat Bombers here. They're going to come in. All of the bombs come in, and the Scathis The Scathis goes down, and so does the commander of Drax! They've taken the 1 versus... or the 2 versus 4 and turned it into a 2 versus 2, and now there's no more game enders in this game. And now... somehow... oh, wait! Did the comm explosion kill all of his own ASF too? I don't see his ASF anywhere. Seems to have lost most of them. And now it's Ruling and Jerax versus Gid and Kamikaze, and Gid and Kamikaze now have the rating advantage. Novax here is going to be a problem. But Gid has been spamming out experimentals. Might continue to try and make something happen there. And he was working on his own Scathis, gave up on that plan. And he's winning Navy over here. You can see huge naval fight, lots of air units going down as of the moment. He's forcing his way in to this bay. I think he wants to start going for the economy of Ruling. And Ruling is building something interesting in his base. Oh, a Paragon! Why not? Oh, yeah, why not? Why wouldn't we have a Paragon? That might finish, too.
Strategic launch detected.
We might build all of the game enders this game. Oh, wait, did he get the anti-nuke? Oh, no. My bad. I accidentally tabbed out there for a second. Did he get the anti-nuke? He did. Oh, no. Oh, no, it's a disaster. Oh, man. Game enders are not the thing to go for in this game, apparently, because they're not ending games, contrary to popular belief. They are, in fact, just getting blown up over and over and over. And with that, the game is kind of deflated. They're really just... It still can go either way. And torpedo bombers are trying to get rid of Kamikaze, and they manage it! So now Gid in a 1 versus 2. Kamikaze, I mean, he still had a lot of economy. Let's not beat around the bush. He was still an economic powerhouse. But not nearly what he once was, and now it's Gid versus the world in a sense. And he's starting to win this navy up here to the north, and he's been building up experimentals. An experimental push on land right now could be just what they need. There doesn't seem to be too much here to stop it. Now the naval battle, it just continues, and there's just a constant stream of naval units coming out from both Ruling and Gid. These Tempests might be enough to sway this battle, but there's also harms creep coming out from Gid, which will be extremely difficult to deal with. And Gid, he's only using half of his navy to fight the navy of ruling. The other half of his navy is just going for economic damage. So he always has 5 more battleships he can just pull into the fray if he so feels like it. And he has so many nukes. He's launching one of them. Where is he launching the nuke? He's launching it right here at the Novax, and there's just not an anti-nuke. The closest anti-nuke is right here, and that's definitely not within its range. And Kamikaze and Gid have played a blinder of the game. It's hard not to root for them after everything they've had to fight through. But now I kind of want to root for this Southern team since they're sort of the underdogs right now against Gid. They have more economy, but they don't seem to have as much of a cohesive plan to end this game. And that nuke lands, another nuke launched, and it could just be going for the Navy, and there's nowhere you can move the Navy. Navy just sort of has to be right here. Either way, it may as well not exist. So the Novax does go down to that. And the Scathis is being rebuilt now by ruling. Gotta ask yourself a question, will it even matter if it is? That's a lot of Navy going down. How many battleships does Jerix have? 18. Is he still, for some reason, building them? No, he's not. He's building stuff like cruisers. The cruisers won't get any more damage than they've already achieved over here, so I don't think it's really worth building them as much anymore. His ruling is, yet again, as I said, trying to get this Scathis built, and he's building 2 at once. With 3 nuke launchers, you have to be a bit worried. I mean, if he just builds up a strat wave and snipes the few remaining SMD, he'll be in good position. But he is slowly winning the naval battle. I love the use of Tempests, but they just weren't enough to win the Navy here for ruling. There's just too many battleships on the other side. Are any of these battleships building nukes? Doesn't seem so. These SAMs have just lived a very peaceful life. Oh no! Okay, there's all of the SAMs dying. You ever wanted to see what it's like if you black out the sky with missiles? This is a little bit like what it would look like.
Strategic launch detected.
Another nuke launched by Gid. Where is it going? Seemingly gonna go for this middle base right here. I mean, there's not really all that much left there. Let's look at reclaim. Ruling at nearing 300,000. Get at 172,000. Everybody else either dead or irrelevant on that count. Nuke actually went for the engineers, killing off reclaiming engineers, and now there's a Scathis done, but it's for Gid. He has his own game ender. How will that one die is the question. And is he going for the game ender of his opponent? No, he's going for the air grid. You have to imagine some of these ASF just got hit by that. Nice hit, says just beginning. And now the Scath is going to fire over here to the west, going to go for this kind of concentrated area of eco on this island. And also get some damage down on some of the Navy targets as well. And just imagining all of these battleships starting to build nukes. Is Ruling even able to spin the mass? He is on the Scathis. But now Scathis counterfire is coming out from Ruling, but the original Scathis out from Gid going to rain down upon Ruling's base, killing off another mass fab farm and some mexes. Scathis is going to continue firing. He can start another Scathis if he so feels like it, but he's losing economy by the second. He's losing this navy over here. He's submerging Tempests to fight battleships and harms. I don't think it's going to work too well. Gid seems to have found the winning key to this game. How much mass does... Oh, you know, just a grand total of 133,000 mass and SAMs. Against an opponent who has shown only once that they're really willing to use air. I guess his team doesn't have air control anymore, but still. Bit ridiculous. Scathis now firing away, trying to counter battery fire the Scathis of Gid, and Gid, instead of assisting shields, is just gonna go for overwhelming number of shields. And he's not upgrading them to the ED5 variant. I mean, I just tell them to. You have plenty of economy to do so with. Although he is having power struggles, so I guess that makes sense. Needs to make sure he doesn't power stall. And this one shield getting assisted to the high heavens and back by Ruling is keeping his Scathis alive. Mass shielding is working out for now. And just beginning says still alive. Yeah, that shield is going to be very hard to break through for one Scathis. SCU is going down over here. Gid now building up a lot of experimental units. Novax is in the back. Has Megalith. All around the map. Is starting to make progress over here in the west. The Tempests are dying to the harms. And Ruling is about to get knocked out of the water. Mass trap bomb comes in, and the Scathis goes down! Oh no, it's a disaster! Gid can't, he's also been unable to defend. All that happens to game enders in this game is that they die. Now there's gotta be a snipe done onto the game ender of Ruling. Those who do not learn history are doomed to repeat it. These players aren't even keeping up with recent history, as in the last hour. He's sitting on quite a few nukes. If he just if he just builds up some strat bombers and kills off the last remaining antis, he'll be fine. He should be able to hold out. Another Paragon started up for ruling. He's seemingly determined to go for the Paragon, although he kind of quit it and is now just going mass GC. You troll. Well, the Scathus will be able to continue to fire indefinitely, it would seem. But will that even be enough to get anything done? I mean, Mass Novax is going to come online relatively soon. It's going to be hard to deal real economic damage to Gid. Whole bunch of game enders this game. And the game's not over. Yet again, game enders don't end games in FAF. They need a new name, like I don't know. What's like a almost ending but not quite? What's a word for that? Well, Mass GC is going to be a thing. But Mass Megalith is already a thing, and Mass Megalith is a little bit better than Mass GC. And now we, of course, have a ton of strat bombers building up, and as long as they fly in and kill off this anti and this anti, then the game's over, for all intents and purposes. Should just kill this, and oh, I mean, I guess he doesn't really need to worry about that. He can just kill it with the battleships. This beginning. Now he's building up more Novaxes. And yeah, we just sort of are sitting here, waiting to see what's gonna happen. Gid now has the highest eco in the game. Like, he's out-ecoing both enemy players. So, yeah. Oh, nope, never mind. Ruling just got a ton of eco from somewhere. Megaliths now starting to march down the middle, but a ton of strat bombers show up. Unfortunately, most of these strat bombers are going to kind of fail in their plan. Because, oh well, I guess not. With proper micro they won't. But the Megalith doesn't, it's not going to die easily. There's a decent amount of AA flying into the air from these cruisers, but it doesn't seem to be enough. ASF out from Gid showing up to try and deal with it. And this died somehow. Zooies? Or Medusa, I guess? Something? Killed these. Air fight taking place over the base of Jerax, which is quite possibly the worst place to ever fight air, considering he now has you know, just 150,000 mass and SAMs sitting in his base. And the Scathus over here, it's been continuing to fire. And, oh, that's how it went down. His Scathus is trying to hit the Zooies over here, and he's crushing his own base. That is quite unfortunate. This game has everything. People shooting themselves in the foot, people shooting other people in the foot. What more could you ask for? And yeah, megalith battles down here. It's not going to result in anything. Nobody's going to walk away with a major victory, but there's a monkey lord walking towards this base. Where is the commander of ruling? It was in this pond. Now it is where? Oh, it's in this pond. I think Gid may have figured out what he needs to do to win the game. Just a sneaking suspicion. And Gid is going to slowly close it out. We're going to go ahead and speed up for the end of the game. We're going to go ahead and just get a beautiful look at these bases and talk about the commanders. And I'd like to encourage you to like, subscribe, comment. I'd like to thank my Patreons and channel members. If you want to support the channel more personally, you can always consider joining the Patreon to get your name at the end of every video, or joining the channel membership to get access to every video early, as well as emotes for whenever I stream FAF. You all are oh so damn beautiful. And of course, we got to talk about what's going on. So Monkey Lord over here is dying to T1 PD, as you do. Scathis did go down. And now we're kind of waiting for someone to die. We're waiting for either Ruling or Jerax's comms to just go kaboom on us. In comes all of the Zooies. I'll go ahead and turn this on so you have a mini-map. There's a lot of strap bombers just sitting around doing pretty much nothing. There's a lot of... I mean, Jerax is playing a survival game. There's a GC over here stamping his way through the enemies. And there's enough strats here to probably strat snipe both of the enemy comms. Oh, are the strats coming in? Ruling is a poor man with only 163 mass per second now. And Gid, he has a ton of strat bombers, but not looking to use them anywhere, it would seem. Or maybe they got shot down? Did they get shot down? Nope, they're still just chilling up here. I don't even know what those trap bombers were going for. And of course, yep, strap bombers finally committing. They're finally going in. And here they come. The commander of Jerax is, well, it'll cost a lot, but it's dead. Oh, it's not dead. Interesting. Could have just killed him, but instead killed off everything else. Does have nukes to spare now to drop on this base. There's a monkey horde over here. It seems as though they're trying to make things happen with land experimentals, but that stage of the game is well and truly over. 3 megalith, GC fucking sleeper agent behind them. And despite all of the strap bombers hitting so many SMD, there is still an SMD alive. It's not loaded though. What happened to all of his nukes? Oh, all of his nukes are dead. Interesting. We lost all the nuke launchers, guys. Man, this game is really dragging on a lot longer than I expected. This island is for some reason still held by Gid. It just gets to sit there for eternity. Gid really struggling to find a way to close out this game, but I'm sure he will. Like, it's over. Pretty sure. And now we have a ton of ASF scrambling here in the middle, fighting it out. And somehow Ruling has held on to ASF throughout this entire time, and is still going to continue to do so. He's going for more nuke launchers over here now. And the commanders of both Ruling and Jerax are just walking through the water now. Yeah, it feels like it's concluded, but it's just not. It just keeps going. But wait, there's more. Oh man. This base is, I guess, impenetrable by the forces of Gid. And the two players on the southern team refuse to give up, which, admirable. For some reason, they both seem to be wanting to go to the enemy's area with their commanders. Towards Gid's territory. He's going for mass nuke launchers. And that SMD has one nuke loaded. He does have Seraphim battleships. Everybody in this game forgot that Seraphim battleships can build nukes. Yeah, I mean, I could comment on all this. Oh, the megaliths are coming in. Oh my gosh, so high energy. It's crazy. But, like, I'm kind of numb to it. Nothing in this game can be crazier than the first hour. First hour and 10 minutes. Like, this is boring in comparison. Normally, this would be the highlight of the game. Like, normally, there's, like, an excitement curve throughout the game, but, like, as it's winding down, no, we knew this was gonna happen, we've just been waiting for it. Okay, he has how many nukes, and how many of them are loaded? He has 4 nukes, and one of them is about to load. Once he loads 4 nukes, he can just start placing nukes in every direction a comm could run to, and kill the comm. Yeah, he has no idea where the comms are. He did manage to land over here and start building up T3 mexes because he is a greedy man. And an anti-nuke of all things. And yeah. This is the second Setons game I've casted. Whenever I was a lot newer at casting, I casted a Setons game that went like over 2 hours. It's the second one I've casted where I've watched most of it and been like, oh yeah, this'll be fine, and then I don't realize how long it is. And I just sit here because like the game has been over. Like it has been over for a little bit. And I just sit here suffering and like I can't go anywhere. Like I guess I could just like peace out, see you in the next video, and let it run until it's over, but I don't want to do that. Like, the game has been monumental, it's been epic, It's been action-packed. We have the fucking cruisers blotting out the sunlight over here. We've got the world's largest concentration of Zooies. Oh wow, the game is lagging all of a sudden? What the heck? Okay. Game just started shitting itself for me. I guess it really doesn't like me looking at all the cruisers from this angle. I mean, I guess right at this angle it has to render everything in the game. And it was probably chugging because of that. I think we'll just stay in this state. Slow it down a bit, let it fix itself. No, it's just straight chugging. This replay is gonna kill my computer. Interesting. If you're still watching this video at this point, like if you're watching this in video form and you haven't liked and subscribed right now, what's wrong with you? You've been here for like an hour and a half. You're enjoying it, aren't you? Or do you dislike it? Okay, it's finally fixed itself. No more free cam for the rest of this game. Strategic launch detected. What could that possibly be going for? That better be going for commanders.
Strategic launch detected.
Or I guess it could just be going for the Navy of Jarrex. Yeah. Okay, well, screw it. I don't care if it lags the game. Oh, no. Just nukes everywhere. Just launch them everywhere. Well, the game is going to be laggy no matter what, so I may as well speed it up if it's going to keep on stuttering and hitching like that. And, yeah.
Strategic launch detected.
Are they going to die because these megaliths track them down? And, oh, he figured out that the nukes, the battleships have nukes. They can't reach further. Well, he nuked a lot of engineers. It's gonna come down to these megaliths having to chase down. No, the megaliths are probably gonna die to all the destroyers. Wow. It just doesn't end, does it? He has another nuke loaded. Nuking right here might kill a comm. He has a bunch of ASF now fighting, but he has to deal with the ungodly AA of this area. Oh, the megaliths are gonna walk out into the water. Oh, man. The destroyers are too strong, I tell you. And torpedo bombers come in, and they almost kill one of the comms. More torpedo bombers coming in. And ruling is gonna go down. Now it's just Jarrex versus the world, and there's a bunch more torpedo bombers coming in. You all are oh so beautiful. Oh, do not tell me he lives. He lives. Advanced nano. Strategic launch detected. Megalith, shoot the comm. Shoot the comm with the megalith. The nuke is gonna. It's gonna almost kill his own megalith. More torpedo bombers coming in. Commander continues to survive. More torpedo bombers are going to come in from this angle now. He's attacked from all sides with torpedo bombers. Okay, Jerax, you gonna finally let it end? I feel like that should be enough freaking torpedo bombers and nukes. It's not enough torpedo bombers, but the nukes may do it. The nukes may finally make it happen. This nuke? No. Next nuke, though, yes! Thank you all for watching. You've been so beautiful. I'll see you in the next one. This is Willow, signing off.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead,